The evening sky above. The Adriatic Sea glowed with soft, golden light as the sun slowly sank. Behind the horizon, a beautiful stage had been set near the water, surrounded by candles and white flowers. People from many countries had gathered there, waiting for the world-famous cellist, Hauser. When Hauser walked onto the stage, the audience erupted in applause. Dressed in a simple black suit, he carried his cello like it was part of his soul. He smiled politely, but his eyes seemed to be searching for something, or someone. He sat down on the chair at the center of the stage and gently placed the cello between his knees. For a moment, he closed his eyes. The sea breeze moved through his hair, and the quiet sound of the waves filled the silence. Then he began to play. The first notes were soft and emotional, floating through the air like a whisper. The cello's deep voice wrapped around the audience, touching every heart in the crowd. Couples held hands, some people closed their eyes, and others simply stared at the stage, completely lost in the music. Among them sat a young woman named Elena. She had traveled from a small town just to see Hauser perform live. For years, his music had been part of her life. She listened to it when she was happy, when she was sad, and when she needed hope. But she never imagined she would see him so close. As Hauser continued playing, his eyes slowly moved across the audience. Suddenly, he noticed Elena. She wasn't clapping or filming like others. She was simply listening, her eyes shining with emotion. For a brief second, their eyes met. Something changed. Hauser's next melody became softer, more romantic, almost like a love confession spoken through music. Every movement of his bow across the strings carried deep emotion. The song felt personal, intimate, as if it was meant only for one person. Elena felt her heart beating faster. She didn't know why, but it felt like the music was speaking directly to her. When the performance ended, the audience stood up, cheering loudly. The applause echoed across the sea. But Hauser remained still for a moment, looking into the crowd. Then he did something unexpected. He stood up, took his cello, and walked down from the stage. People moved aside as he walked through the audience until he stopped right in front of Elena. She looked up at him in surprise, hardly believing what was happening. Hauser smiled gently. "I saw you listening," he said softly. "Not just with your ears, but with your heart." Elena felt her cheeks turn red. "Your music has been part of my life for years," she replied quietly. Hauser lifted his cello and played a short, beautiful melody right there beside her. The people around them became silent. The sunset faded into a sky full of stars. The sea waves moved slowly, and the soft sound of the cello filled the air. In that moment, Elena understood something she would never forget. Sometimes love doesn't begin with words. Sometimes it begins with music.